Hello everyone, I'm here today with the first video of the year in a new collaboration I'm doing that's all about pocket pages. I have called it Pocket Page Roundup, so it's myself and a bunch of other YouTube scrappers who are focusing on pocket pages for the whole year of 2021. We are doing a different theme each month, and for January our theme is Baby It's Cold Outside. And even if we have people living in a different hemisphere where it isn't winter right now, everybody has photos of when it's cold in some way, I think. So that's our theme for this month. These are my photos. I have one 4x6 here. This is out my back deck area. And then I have these three photos. So this was just, I was out shopping. You can see it was quite cold. All the trees were frosted. And another view looking out my basement. So you can kind of see the layers of snow there. And then just a quick screenshot showing only 18 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty cold. So I have all of those. Obviously, I'm going to have to do a photo flip here because I only have two pockets. And I think I want all three of these in one. And then I'll have a card here. These will flip up and I'll decorate them all in some way. But this at least is going to get me started for today. All right, I have pulled out a bunch of winter themed stuff and cold themed stuff. I have a bin of materials I keep together, and it's just as called seasons, and then I separate them by each season. So I've pulled out all the winter stuff, so you can see there's some holiday type things in here too. Some of them are just more generic to winter, but I have a lot of stuff. This pouch is actually all different acrylic embellishments that I have. So I want to look through there and see if there's anything I can use, because these are kind of piling up and I love them, but I'm just not using them fast enough. So I'm hoping I can use something out of there to get this layout going. Okay, I've pulled out a few things. I have these which say Burr and Chili, and there's some backing stuff on here so they don't really look like that. When I take that off, they'd be a much darker blue, which doesn't really match with my color scheme here. I've got green, kind of tan, and then I've got a lighter blue. So I'm not sure those are going to work, but I love that it says Burr and Chili. That's perfect. Then I have these, and by the way, these are all from Bramble Fox. If you've never heard of them, they're a company that's out of the UK. Just Google it and you'll find them. I do like these trees and the fact that I've got two green there, which I might be able to work in. Just not quite sure how. Maybe it'll end up being on the card I pick. I don't know, but I like the look of them. And then I have these that say Winter Moments. In looking at those, I have several ideas circulating, but I think I need to pick out this card in order to figure out which acrylic is going to work best, if any of them will end up working. So I think I'm going to switch and start looking at cards here just to see what can I make work with the photos that I have. When I went through my stash of cards, I came across several that I thought might work. This definitely has the right blue to match the screenshot, but I wasn't planning on working in yellow or gold, so I'm not quite sure about that one. This one is just much more light blue and white, which is fine. It actually says winter. I could maybe take one of these trees and fit it on there. It's an option. I like this one because it says stay cozy, which implies it's cold outside, so I'm staying inside, which is very much me. I hate winter, so that applies. But again, not sure about this color. This one, just personally, I love it because I would check the box that says UGG. Like I said, I'm not a winter person, so snow is definitely UGG for me. And I kind of like this one too because it says evidence of winter, and I can write about it's cold outside. That's evidence for me. I don't want to be out there. And I still will have room for something else as well. Then again, these two are the darkest. They definitely have darker blue. Now, I might be able to work one of these in then somehow. I don't want to overdo it, so I'm just not sure. I'm going to look through the cards again, plus look through these, try to come up with some combinations, and just hope something works. All right, people, I think I've come up with two things. I like this card, but because I had the darker blue, I knew I was going to have to work in probably one of those other acrylics somehow. But I do like this tree. I haven't taken the backing off it yet, but I think the color will be fine because of the green here. So I think I'm going to use that one right along the edge. It still leaves me plenty of room to journal around it, which is great. And then remember how those other acrylics had this paper clip thing on the bottom? I didn't like that. I thought, well, I could use it here if it didn't have that dang paper clip on it. I decided to try something. I grabbed my junky old scissors and thought, let's see if I can cut through it. If I break it, no big deal. I'll find something else. But it worked. I decided to leave this little line at the bottom, which is the top of the paper clip part, because it looks a little bumpy the way I cut it, which implies like snow on the ground, I thought. So I think I can get away with it. Now, when I look at it like that, I don't like that. It blends in too much. So what I think I'm going to do is find a larger label and put that partially behind it so that the word actually stands out a little bit more. All right, I've taken the backing off of this and I'm ready to apply my liquid glue to then adhere it to the card. I have applied the glue here, as you can see. And this particular glue that I use, it will dry clear once it's on. So if you get a little too much on there or you move it around a little bit and you can see it around the outside edge, don't worry about it because it'll be clear when it dries. So I want it pretty close to the edge, both on the right and at the bottom. So I'm going to shuffle that just a little bit. So that's straight kind of there. I think I like that. There. So now I will leave it alone to let it dry. And you can see I did actually get a little extra glue right there, but like I said, it'll dry clear, so not an issue. As you can see, I pulled out all of my green labels trying to find one that would work. And I was hoping more for a rectangle shape like this, but everything I had either had lines or a pattern that I thought was big enough in the right color. So I've ended up picking this one, I think. So it's a little bit more square than I anticipated, but it'll probably be fine. And then I can just overlap this, and it pretty much goes side to side, so it doesn't leave a whole lot of room, but I do think that it matches well with that green. Now I've got this acrylic ready. I've already applied the glue, so all I have to do is put it down right over the label. I've already adhered that. So I just have to get that where I want it. So roughly centered. Doesn't have to be perfect. I think right about there. So I'm just going to push on it a little bit. Make sure I've got it where I want it. And yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So let's put these up here together to see how they look. Okay. All right, I'm liking it. That tells me, though, I need to work in some darker blue and green, probably with these photos as well, once I get them in there. The other option I have, too, is to use a special die that I have. So I have a special die set from Elle's Studio. This is the base, and then it has a crease in the middle, so it folds and it becomes its own flip for the pocket. So I have that. But then there's also a piece, two pieces actually, that go in it. So I can make a frame for the inside that's also rectangular, or I can cut out a hole that's square if I want. And I'm considering it for this top photo because if I created a frame around the outside of this one and tucked it underneath, I could go with a paper that has a darker blue. I found a piece of blue paper in my stash. It wasn't big enough to do a whole flip with it, but it was big enough to at least give me the cutout. So I did that. So now this will go on the inside. So I'll just cut this down to 3x4 so that it nicely frames that photo. Since I have black in the fencing and the chairs here, and I will have black journaling, I think I'm going to stamp on this upper portion of the photo in black, and then that ties all that together as well. Otherwise, I've got a lot of dead space there with nothing really going on. So I think I probably will do this one that says Winter Snapshot. I really like this one because it's bold and big. It would fill up the space nicely, but I already used this. So had I pulled these out first, maybe I would have done something different, but now I have to work with what I've got, so I think it's going to be this one. With the frame adhered around the outside and the stamping done, I really like the way that turned out. So probably done with that one. And I just want to say that because I stamped directly on a photo, I did use my StazOn ink because it doesn't smear, or will smear very, very little when stamping on a photo compared with regular black ink. Now I could use a photo flip, which I have here, and just use the adhesive and stick it on, which is what I've normally done. But now that I have that other die available, I think I'm going to give it a try. Since I couldn't do the whole blue in the background to make the flip, what I'm going to end up doing is just taking white cardstock, die cutting with that, and then placing these on top of it to fit, and then it will become the flip that way instead. All right, I've completed my flip here, so you can see I just have the fold at the top, and then it'll open like so. But even though I think I can leave this one blank because it's got a lot happening, I could put something right in here if I wanted. I could stamp a little snowflake from the same set if I wanted. Oh, that's, you know what, I kind of like that idea. I might do that one if it'll fit. And then here I could do something as well. I have a lot of dead space. Since I've already got something centered more to the left side, I would probably do it over here. So I did my stamping here, which came out fine, and then I picked out this phrase that I had as a label to put on here. It's a little bit too big, so I've let some hang off over the edge. I'm going to clip that off, and then luckily I didn't totally glue the photo down, so I can still get a mini staple in there too. So I realized as I was doing this that this is the back photo. Nobody's going to see it. There'll be something on the other side, so it didn't matter if I put a staple all the way through, so I decided to just do it. So now this one is done. This is all I have to do for it. And the flip is in the pocket, so it's ready to go. So I hope you enjoyed watching me put this together. And again, our theme was Baby It's Cold Outside, and I think this is fitting. Thanks for watching.